Hi everybody, I know it's been a while since I last filmed a video and I'm really sorry about that, but I'm not gonna lie, Lent term has been really busy for me. On top of having my normal lectures and seminars, we're also currently prepping for the dance show at the end of the term, and I'm in like 12 hours of rehearsal a week, so I haven't exactly had a whole lot of time, but I have loved every minute of it and I'm really excited for the actual performance. But what I wanted to talk about today is actually going to be a little bit more career focused. I know LSE recently just had their Careers and Creative Industries Week, and this typically happens like the first or second week of February. And I just wanted to chat a little bit about that, and then also my experiences trying to pursue a career going down a more creative path, which isn't exactly typical or the norm at an institution like LSE. So let's get into that. So to give you guys a little bit more insight into what I want to do career-wise, I actually studied the business of cinematic arts in undergrad, and I really enjoyed both learning and working in film and TV, and I think that's definitely going to be the area that I continue with. In terms of the type of entry-level position that I'm looking for, it's probably going to be more down the corporate route for now. And I'm weighing my options between potentially staying here, which is going to be much more difficult as an international student and not really knowing what the job market is going to look like in a couple months, or going back to Los Angeles where I know that there's, a lot more opportunity for these types of positions, and I'm really grateful to have that as an option. Because of kind of my interest in terms of my career, a lot of the events that I attended during career week were more geared towards that field, and less focused on, for instance, journalism or marketing, communications, but there were plenty of events that did cover those topics, and there's a really wide range. Here are some examples actually of the different kinds of events that were offered throughout the week. Some of the events that I attended during Career Week included Meet Alums Networking Night, a BBC strategy workshop, a talk about how to get into television production, and then a freelancer lunch. And the structure of a lot of these events were, you would have a guest or multiple guests, and they would speak for the majority of the time, either telling their own experiences, talking about the organizations, what they do on the job, some of the problems that they encounter, or the transition that they had going from school to getting these positions, and then they would open it up for Q&A, and a lot of the students asked really helpful and poignant questions. And then most of the workshops in general, there was a short section where you would get to apply some of the things that you had learned during the talk and put them to use in, a little scenario or situation that might happen on the job. And that was obviously really cool. But I will say that I felt like, in terms of the events that I went to, I kind of already knew a lot of this stuff that the speakers were saying, but it was very interesting to hear their own experiences about how they got to where they were. And unfortunately, I think that's just the nature of a career in a creative industry. There's not necessarily a set path for everyone. There's very little structure to the job search, unlike, for instance, finance or consulting, where you kind of know what to expect at the different stages and there's a certain timeline. That is not the case for the creative industries. It is a waiting game, unfortunately, and I think you have to pave your own way a lot of the times. And for that reason, when guest speakers come in, they give their anecdotes, but it doesn't always apply to everyone because people tend to take very different routes to get to where they are within the more creative fields. And so you just kind of have to take everything with a grain of salt and realize that because they had those experiences, that doesn't necessarily mean that that's how it's going to work out for you. I have learned a few things along the way, and one of the main things is that you just have to be okay with uncertainty and not knowing where you're going to be after school. You're not alone. I know, like, being at LSE, it feels like everyone else kind of already has their job and it's gonna be super high paying and they're gonna be extremely well off when they graduate, and you're not. But there are a lot of, for instance, media and comm students that are all in the same boat, and we all don't really know what's gonna happen to us in a few months. We have a community of people who are experiencing the same thing. We can share resources, we can vent together, we can send each other opportunities and all of this stuff. But you have to be okay with it, unfortunately, and you have to hope for the best and know that if this is what you really love and what you want to do, you gotta power through. It's gonna work out in the end. Yeah. Well, I think that is all I have for today's video, but thanks so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.